Perfectionists and overachievers struggle to feel accomplished, no matter how much they've achieved. You can tick many boxes and still feel like it's not enough because you're measuring against the wrong criteria. If you're a perfectionist or overachiever, you probably know this feeling all too well. You minimize or even ignore your progress and convince yourself that nothing you've done really counts. After working with senior leaders and high performers for almost 20 years, many with perfectionistic traits, I've observed a common pattern. Perfectionists confuse not having reached the final destination yet with having failed altogether. And even when they do get close to it, they raise the bar again. So because of this, I get asked questions about it all the time. Why don't I ever feel like I've achieved enough? Most people will tell you it's because you just need to relax or stop being so hard on yourself. I disagree. How can you stop and relax when you're afraid? The constant chase for the next goal or qualification, the next proof that you're good enough, isn't always about ambition. It's about something much deeper. You're trying to fill an internal need with an external validation that will never satisfy you. Knowing what's behind your feeling of never having achieved enough is critical. And that's what we're unpacking in this video today. Why perfectionists feel they've never achieved enough. There are a few different reasons behind why perfectionists feel they've never achieved enough. And as we go through them, notice which ones sound most familiar to you. And even if you wouldn't call yourself a perfectionist, if you ever feel like no achievement is quite enough, this will resonate. Because once you understand the real driver behind why you feel this way, you can finally stop moving from fear and start being driven by courage and conviction. So let's start with what sits beneath almost every perfectionist's drive. You feel like you've never achieved enough because deep down, it's not about achievement. It's about wanting to feel worthy, accepted, and valuable. And you use achievement to try and get there. But achievement and self-worth serve two completely different purposes. They live in two different systems. When you use one to fill the other, the emptiness will only grow. It's almost like trying to satisfy hunger with applause. They're not the same language. So no matter how much people clap for you, you'll still be craving something to eat. And to all my hangry people out there, you know what that feels like. If you are really starving, the last thing you want is for a group of people to just clap for you. So in a similar way, you'll keep achieving to feel worthy, but it never lands. So you try again and again, hoping the next achievement will finally do it, but it won't, because achievement was never designed to create belonging. Parents, social norms, and schools often reinforce this achievement worth cycle because most children got praise for their grades and their performance, if that, but not for being themselves. If love or praise only came when you performed well, you learned that belonging had to be earned through performance and output. This is one reason achievement never feels like enough. But for others, it's about how others judge and perceive them if they don't achieve enough. This means that mistakes stop feeling like errors you can recover from and start feeling like exposure. You're no longer afraid of failing. You're afraid of being seen as a failure. Studies on issues that perfectionists are worried about show that when ambition and striving hard are tied to self-criticism and fear of judgment from others, even doing well doesn't make you feel better anymore. This fear of being negatively appraised by others is often the invisible driver behind overachievement or never feeling like you've achieved enough. In this fear-based mode, your brain is also more likely to catastrophize with thoughts like, will I be cast out? Will I lose my place in the world? Will I be excluded from important networks or relationships? And these fears can be so deeply buried that you're not even conscious of them. Research on socially prescribed perfectionism, the belief that others expect you to be perfect, links it to higher anxiety and depression. When approval equals safety, criticism feels like a warning that your place in the world is at risk. You're not addicted to achieving more and more. You're avoiding the rejection that could come if others think less of you. For some, the reason you don't feel like you've ever achieved enough is less about self-worth or fearing judgments from other people, and it's more about survival. That survival might trace back to childhood. especially childhood financial instability? If so, you would have learned early that resources were scarce, so achievement became your survival strategy. Each degree, each promotion is protection against ever being unsafe or without again. That childhood programming doesn't just disappear. And in cultures that glorify productivity, this wiring only gets reinforced in adulthood. This puts you in emotional survival mode, and constantly being in this mode means you can't stop to appreciate achievements because you've got to move to the next thing, just to survive and to stay safe. When you're in this mode, you're living by fear. There is no time to look back, and reflection on your achievements almost seems indulgent. Rest also feels unsafe. Money stress wasn't the background noise of my childhood, it was the noise. And this contributed to a belief that we were always just one small crisis away from homelessness and everything falling apart. I swore as a child that my future would be different. I thought in doing that, I was choosing opportunity, but I was actually choosing a prison. That fear didn't stay in childhood, it followed me into every career decision I made as an adult. And it was lurking, hiding beneath the surface all the time. I'd take jobs out of desperation rather than alignment. In interviews, I felt grateful to be there, never fully recognizing they were lucky to have me and my expertise. I was operating from scarcity, not strategy. Then one day I said it out loud to my husband and my sister, not at the same time, separately. And I just said, I'm terrified of becoming homeless. And this wasn't a distant fear, mind you. It was very present and real. But the moment I named it, the fear started losing its grip because I had to confront the evidence for it at that point. What evidence actually existed that homelessness was just around the corner? This began the process of me being able to make career decisions, not from panic, but clarity and calm. You see, you can't achieve your way out of survival mode. If safety only lives in your next accomplishment, success will always feel temporary because you're chasing calm instead of creating it. Put a comment below. When you think about your achievements, what emotion shows up first and what memories come to the surface? We've covered how fear and survival mode keep the achievement equals worth cycle going. Next up is the negativity bias perfectionists tend to have. This bias is the brain's tendency to notice what's wrong or missing more than what's actually working or has gone well. For perfectionists, that bias can show up as self-criticism and comparison, two habits that can erase any sense of accomplishment. Then there's the trap of harsh self-criticism. Self-criticism is actually more strongly linked to distress than actually having high standards themselves. This shows that the issue isn't necessarily wanting to do well. It's how you treat yourself when you don't reach the standard you set. And I can't emphasize this enough, but perfectionists tend to punish themselves for not doing well enough. And so often your perception of whether you've done enough is no longer even grounded in reality. It's just about punishing yourself. And when self-punishment becomes the default, no matter how well you've done, enough just stops existing. There's always another flaw to correct or another standard to meet. If any of this resonates, you're not alone. And I'm hosting a live session on Saturday, 13th of December at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time or 3 p.m. GMT, where we're doing this work together. It's a 40-minute guided reflection to help you see your progress accurately and step into 2026 without harsh self-criticism and negativity bias. Click the link below to set your reminder, and don't forget to bring a pen and paper. Self-criticism might feel like control, but neurologically it's threat and activates the same threat circuits as external rejection, but only you're the one rejecting yourself in this instance. So lastly, for some, feeling like you've never achieved enough isn't necessarily about self-criticism, it's about the constant comparison to others and to who the world is saying you should be. Dear perfectionists and overachievers, or anyone with high standards, goals and ambitions are valuable. They help you live your ideals, your dreams and values. But goals are meant to provide direction and motivation to your life. They were never meant to be how you measure your inherent worth. But society teaches you that happiness sits on the other side of ticking all the boxes. So you keep chasing the goals and accomplishments instead of experiencing the progress you have already made. Psychologists call this gap thinking. It's when you measure yourself against the ideal of who you think you should be or where you wish you were, instead of against your starting point. Dissatisfaction only grows deeper with each accomplishment if you stay in gap thinking. I talk about this in my video, Procrastination is Your Signal, Here's How to Read It, where I explain how constantly comparing your current state to an ideal state can trigger paralysis and procrastination, because that gap creates unease, and unease can fuel avoidance. I'll put the link to that video in the description below too. Social media also amplifies gap thinking even further by creating distorted or unhealthy comparisons. The more highlight reels you consume, the harder it is to see how far you've actually come, because you're comparing your achievements to other people's, and sometimes other people's ideals. If your achievements then don't stack up against theirs, they suddenly feel like they're not enough anymore. All these patterns run on the same operating system: fear. Fear that if you're not achieving, you'll lose your place, your acceptance, or your value. And once you name this, the goal stops being to achieve more and becomes more about learning to operate from something other than fear. The truth is, fear doesn't have to be in the driver's seat of your life anymore, dictating all your decisions. So how do you start breaking these exhausting patterns? This is exactly what we'll explore in my next video, because this one is already too long. In the meantime, if you want to keep exploring this kind of insight, join my private newsletter, Excellence in Ease, where you'll learn to aim high without burning out, losing yourself, or getting stuck in paralysis. You'll find the link in the description box below as well. See you there.